So Charlie, I asked Steve this like twice already. What the hell did we just watch?
Yeah, I gotta say, and I tweeted this out, but after the way Wednesday's game ended, I never in a million years thought that I would be flying home on Saturday thinking, yeah, successful road trip. But I mean, look, we all know Colorado's a good team, a really good team. I don't think people realize like this is only the second time this season they've lost a game in regulation at home. The Flyers did something that basically no team in the NHL, aside from shockingly Nashville, the other team that beat them in regulation in
They've
Ball
been good
Arena.
lately.
Yeah, I guess so. The Flyers did something that pretty much no team in the NHL has been able to do this season. They went into Colorado's house and they were the better team. And like, look, you can look at the shots on goal total and be like, yeah, you know, the Avs had their shots, they had a chance, and they did. Don't get me wrong. Especially in that second period, they were flying. They looked like the Stanley Cup favorite that they are. But really, you know, I'm looking at expected goal numbers at 5-on-5. The Flyers led in expected goals at 5-on-5. They had 12 high danger chances to 7 for the Avs. Like this was not a game where they got lucky or a game where, you know, the goalie stole the game. They went out there and went toe to toe with the team that everybody understandably thinks is the best team in the league. And to do it right after that Utah game, I gotta say, it is impressive. It's an impressive showcase of their resiliency and the way that they came into this game from a mentality standpoint. It's an impressive win.
I typically try to stay away from the guys I assume you're going to make the stars, but like we have to talk about Owen Tippett, Charlie. Yeah. 3 goals and an assist on the Barkey power play goal. Absolutely insane. Picked off Cale Makar, shorthanded for the hat trick goal. Can you talk about what he's been recently and the kind of game he had tonight? Talk about it. It's a great journalist question, but that's your job, not mine.
There you go. Well, number one, you know, this is the kind of game that Owen Tippett, like these games aren't new. We've seen him have these games before where, you know, 3, 4, 5 times a season, he'll have a game where he just pops and it's like, oh yeah, right. He can play like a superstar when he's at his absolute best. Today, he played like a superstar. But one thing I'll say about Tippett is that while he obviously doesn't do this every night, you know, if he did, he would be up there with Connor McDavid as one of the best players in the league, and he's not that. However, I would say probably since like the start of December, I think he's been playing a better all-around game, even when he's not scoring goals. And look, he made a mistake in the Utah game. He blows the coverage on Keller in the overtime goal. So it's not like he's perfect. It's not like he doesn't make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But really, since the start of December, like I'm seeing a more assertive Owen Tippett. I'm seeing a guy who's playing more physical. I'm seeing a guy who wants to impact games. Whereas last year, and I tweeted this out a couple of days ago, like last year, if Owen Tippett didn't score a goal or didn't have a point, you weren't noticing it. This year, even especially since December, these last month and a half, 2 months, you notice him every game, which was why this game just felt so, it felt so justified. It felt like such a just reward because I feel like for the most part, Tippett's been impactful every night. It's just that he hasn't been producing the goals that would feel like he deserves based on the level of impact that he's having. Tonight, he was impactful. He was doing all the things. He was flying. He was moving well, creating zone entries, you know, looking strong along the boards, but he also was scoring. I mean, he was sniping pucks. Like those first 2 goals, those were straight up snipes. Then he gets the penalty kill, the shorthanded breakaway. Like this was just a fantastic game by Owen Tippett. And what's most exciting, as I said, to me about it is that it's coming on the heels of like 6 or 7 straight weeks of legitimately overall impactful play, even beyond goals and assists.
Yeah, I went back like 18 games and the numbers weren't as good as I thought. Basically, like, oh, he's like last 18, he's hitting his career averages, but I just think he's been playing better overall. Yeah. And tonight was finally that game, like a couple of these, and it's, oh, that's what gets 27 to 30. That's what gets 30 to 30, like a few of those sprinkled in and play consistently the rest of the time. Like it's, I'm really, really excited about the Owen Tippett we have seen lately. And I am excited about the Matvei Michkov we have seen the last 2 nights, Charlie. You know, you, me, and Petey talked on Wednesday, like, all right, I think Mish played pretty well, 7 shots, like, all right, didn't show up on the scoreboard, but maybe this is something he can build on. But we've also said that like a dozen times this year. And it just always seems, oh, step forward, step back. pretty damn good game tonight. 2 goals and an assist. He gets he doesn't get a point on the Brink goal, but he got that whole thing started, taking advantage of turnover.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Mish tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he was really good. Tocchet singled him out for praise when we talked to him after the game, and he should. Michkov had a really good game. Like that play in the first period where he sets up Barkey for that power play goal. I mean, he was fantastic that entire shift. Like he nearly set up Couturier for a goal. Couturier whiffs on it in front, but like the pass from Michkov was still really, really good. And then Michkov doesn't hang his head. It isn't like, oh man, well there was my one shot to get a point in this shift. Nope. He just goes out there and makes another really good pass, and this time the guy actually finishes on the shot. No, Michkov, I thought in this game, he gets goals, he gets points. That's great. But it was the impact. It was the level of impact he had. Like one thing that I thought was very noteworthy, and maybe this speaks to him feeling a little bit better physically too. Like we've talked a lot on this show about the out of shape thing, about the fact that his shifts are short. He's leaving the ice early sometimes, going back to the bench early because he might be a little gassed. That shift he scores that goal on at the start of third period, he's out there longer than any of his line mates. He's out there with the fourth line because his two line mates had changed, and Michkov stayed out there. And the fact that he didn't feel the need to cut the shift short, and not only that, still had more than enough energy to make a really, really good deflection tip play right in front of the net and score that big goal. That's a big goal. I mean, yeah, they're already up. They're 4-3 before the goal, but that gives the Flyers much needed breathing room because, like, we know this Avs team, they can score in bunches. They're fully capable. They showed it in the second period. That's a big goal. And he does it at the end of a shift, having the energy, having the drive to still find a way to make an impact, even though you're probably a little gassed. I love that. Also, really liked I really like Travis Konechny getting in that empty net goal. That's a play that a leader should make, especially when I'm sure Konechny would love to have padded his stats a little bit, but Michkov needed that goal more. He needs to feel better about himself and better about his game, and getting that goal, hopefully having a big game, a 2-goal, 3-point night. Hopefully this makes Michkov feel better about himself and helps him to maybe break out of this and play with the confidence that we've seen him play with in the past. I thought that was a good idea by Konechny. I'm glad he did it, but Michkov was real good in this game. He deserves all the credit. He was really good.
Only his second 2-goal game of the season, his first 3-point night of the season. Hell yeah, Matvei. Now, it was a nice play by Konechny. That's a leader play, sure. But also, maybe he's the only one who can hit empty nets. Charlie, what the hell is with this team and empty nets?
Yeah. When Konechny missed that one empty net, when they were up 5-3, I guess. I think it was when they were 5-3 or 6-3. I think it was 5-3. And he misses it, and I'm just like, oh god, they are gonna regret that. Like, they're gonna lose this game, and it's gonna be because he missed that empty net. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, Dvorak missed an empty net. Konechny missed an empty net.
pulled a half away. Maybe just wanted to make his buddy feel good. It's not on him anymore.
Yeah,
it's not just you, Gart.
The team is just absolutely ridiculous. Charlie, we talked about Sam Ersson a little bit ago, and I said, we say a lot sometimes he's better than his numbers, but tonight he wasn't just better than like an 8-12 or something. He was better than a 9-14, I would say. His first period alone, incredible. 2 of the 3 games on this trip, he was really good. And the Utah game, listen, he's to blame, but so are 20 other guys.
Yeah.
Everyone, the training staff, whoever, everybody.
The whole team.
But tonight, he was awesome. Do you think this could be a building block for him as well?
I hope so. I mean, this road trip was overall a good road trip for Sam Ersson. He started all 3 games. It was fantastic against Vegas. I thought he was really good tonight. Really, this game was, I wouldn't say it was won, but it could have been lost in the first period. The Flyers gave up a ton, especially in like the first 10 minutes, a ton of high quality chances. And Sam Ersson basically pulled a Vladar, because this is what Vladar's been doing all year. He's been standing on his head in the first period to allow the Flyers to kind of play themselves into a game. Sam Ersson pulled a Vladar tonight. He stood on his head, made a bunch of bonker saves. He was really using his glove well from the start. Made a couple really, really nice glove saves. Look, I think Sam Ersson has talent. I don't think he is true talent, an 850 goaltender. I think he is better. Now, how good he is, I don't know. Maybe he's never going to have the consistency to be anything more than like a decent enough backup. But I do think he's better true talent-wise than what he has shown this year. This week, he reminded people that, like, yeah, there's still a decent goalie in there. Maybe you're never going to be able to pull it out of him over long stretches of time, but there's still a good goalie in there somewhere. And props to him. He had a great game. First period, he was incredible. And the Flyers could have been out of this game by the time they woke up if Ersson, like if they got normal Ersson, they probably lose this game. They needed good Ersson, and they got good Ersson.
It was awesome to see Ersson have the week he's had after everybody was ready to drive him to Lehigh Valley last week. So really good bounce back week for him. And also,
I think the Flyers were considering sending him to Lehigh, like, not like demoting him, but like talking about a conditioning stint. I think that was on the table. Like if Kolosov last Saturday
doesn't go 0 for 3.
Yeah, if Kolosov last Saturday goes out there and has a good game against the Rangers, like, I think that was a consideration for them. It's like, well, when Vladar comes back, maybe we have a conversation with Sam and give him a conditioning stint. Now, Ersson's forced himself right back into the conversation. Like, hopefully Vladar is good to go for Monday, and I think there's a good chance he will be. And Vladar obviously retakes the net. Like, he's the better of the two goalies. But you're going to need to use Ersson. Like, the schedule is so busy, you're going to need to use your backup. And this week, Sam Ersson again looks like a playable NHL goalie, and that's like a massive relief.
It is a huge relief because I think after we saw what Kolosov did last week, we're like, no, thank you. We're good on that front. I was going to say it was also awesome to see how many hats were on the ice for that hat trick tonight. It seemed like the Flyers faithful really represented well out there in Colorado.
They really did. There was a lot of Flyers fans in the crowd. The hats, that was fun. But even up here, like in the press box, so the way the Ball Arena press box is set up, it's very close to the stands. Like, the people are literally like right on the other side of like almost a half wall from you, so you're right there, which is cool. It's kind of the same way it is in Washington. You're real close to the fans. I like it. Some reporters don't, because I think they find it distracting. I like it because I think you get a better feel for the energy of the building. And there were a bunch of Flyers fans right in front of us that were doing "Let's Go Flyers" chants like all game. That was fun. And then it was dueling chants, and they would come back with "Let's Go Avs" and back and forth. It was a cool environment. This is always a fun place to watch a game. But yeah, Flyers fans traveled well, or maybe there are just a lot of Flyers fans that live in the Denver area. That's possible as well. One thing I did want to mention, because I thought this was interesting, and this is something that, it's not going to come up naturally. One thing that I thought was interesting about Tocchet's post-game presser. He dropped a little interesting tidbit that he basically was like, because he was asked, what was different about this game in the third period versus the last game where you guys completely blew it? Like, what was different about the mentality? What was different about what you guys did? And he said, well, there were about 3 or 4 guys, and I'm not going to name any names, about 3 or 4 guys on that bench that don't usually talk, that were talking and were pumping guys up and saying things that you usually don't hear them say. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to tell you one of them, Jamie Drysdale. He said Jamie Drysdale at one point basically stood up on the bench and is like, we need to be excited about being in a situation like this, that we're right here in a tie game against the Colorado Avalanche in their home building. Like, let's not feel the pressure. Let's be excited that we're getting this opportunity. Jamie Drysdale's a pretty soft-spoken guy. Like, he's not a big rah guy, but maybe there's a future leader in there. Maybe.